Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Lambert, Goon Glass and Rubber Company with the last video of the Caswell coating series. Anyway, we're here in front of the fiberglass bench. We got some action going on over here to my right, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, we've Caswelled this thing. It's sat its adequate amount of time of 12 to 24 hours, and we're going to remove the residual Caswell out of here. I'm going to show you how I do it. This is pretty simple. You don't want to damage the threads, so we're just going to kind of easily remove this. You kind of work it from left to right in here just to wiggle it, and it'll kind of snap it off. Sometimes it might be a little more difficult to do. The longer I leave this, the more likely it's actually gonna snap. Physically, you'll hear it snap out of there. It's gonna be really hard. But like I said, so this is what we're left with right there. It's a little booger. And we're gonna do the other side. Now, what's cool about all this is the next step. You might be, well, there's Caswell in the bung hole. There is, you're right. A lot of Caswell in the bung hole. Let me show you how we fix that. Right here. Now, you don't just ram it in there and let it wobble and fiddle around. Alright, you gotta make sure it's centered. Do not ram it in. Just let it eat. Alright? So I'm gonna let it eat here. And it should go through real easy any second. Boom. That's it. Like literally, I could do that. So got that off. We're going to do this one. That's it. So the next part of this is pretty simple, straightforward. We're going to start with the top. The thread pitch I use, and most other people that have a common bung, is a 1.5 12. All right? You got to be careful not to go too far in with the tap to hit the actual top of the gas tank. Well, the bottom of the top, we'll call it, right? So I'm working in. Most of the time, a good way to know if you've gotten everything is you bring it in by hand, and then you'll feel it kind of get a little tight there. You might have some muck in there, but make sure you're checking. That's usually when you're coming out of the area where the bottom of the bung meets the laminate. So I bring it into where it's tight, and then work it back and forth. And then I take my big old swapper wrench here, and I'll take it for a turn. And then back out. Brace it past that point. And before you finish it out, what you want to make sure you do is you check with your cap that everything's tight. You don't want to force your cap in. You force your cap in, you're taking a risk of sticking it if you got debris in here. Alright? So I don't see any debris in here. I'm going to take and... Alright, so you see that thread right on? We got her. Alright, take a look. It's sealed. Bingo, bango, wango, tango. So that's done right there. The next part, obviously, the bottom. And that's a little bit more dicey of a thing to do. So what we'll do here is you get a 1/4 inch NPT tap. I like to work over the top of these things so I don't get debris everywhere. Same thing, run it in by hand. Alright, so you can make sure it grabs. That's usually why I put that little bit of Vaseline in there to protect that first thread. Alright. And you don't want to reef this thing home. In and out. In and out. You can see all the debris starting to form right here. This is an in and out. Alright. If it's easy, you might take it in a little more. Maybe out a little more. You see how little crumbly's falling? You really shouldn't have to get too much more past the halfway mark of this tap to know you got it. Alright. So we got this. Take a look. Examine it. Those threads are squeaky clean, boy. Next one. Let's see a little bit of clay debris there. So this one's a little bit more difficult. You got her right there. Alright. So if you get a little bit more muck than other ones, it might take a second to see. You know. You are going to probably see a little bit of metal come out when you do this. And that's because your petcock bungs, due to lamination, at some point, have shrunken. or expanded a little bit. So the thread's a little different. Not the thread's a little different, but there's a little bit of muck in there. This one should be pretty easy. Alright. Everything looks clean in there. The last little part, you could use a vacuum, you could use a blower, you can physically shake it. But there'll be a little bit of debris in there. I do recommend, there's actually no debris in there, amazingly. Wow. Crazy. So that's why I try to hold it upside down. So this tank's ready to get finished out, cleaned up, buffed off. Put this sweet Bultaco Astro gas cap that we make here at Goon Glass Rubber on, and we're done. This is not an excuse to leave fuel in your gas tank. This is not an excuse to say your gas tank's bulletproof or that you could put a very caustic product like MR12 in it. This is a very good, cheap, or I shouldn't say cheap, affordable way to protect your investment. So we do this to every gas tank we sell, as well as customer gas tanks that need repairs or restorations. So Caswell, in my opinion, is the best product on the market. It's an epoxy-based product. You can purchase that from me. Just get a hold of me. And like I said, we got like how many videos you guys got to watch. So appreciate you guys sticking through all the different 3-minute segments. Keep in mind, it wasn't 3 minutes to do. But yeah, that wraps it up. So that's my first multi-part video series on doing something. So I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching. If you got any questions, feel free to call and ask me. If you're a DIY guy, is that right? Do it yourself? DIY. Do it yourself, yeah. So just feel free to ask any questions that pertain to doing this. I'm more than happy to help. That's what I'm here for. I have like 15 years of experience in the composites industry, and everything from tooling to making parts to making models to clay work to wax work, all kinds of stuff. So for the most part, I've probably done a little bit of this and that. Anyways, without further ado, the video ends. You don't got to see my ugly face anymore in this video, and you don't have to hear my irritating what would you call it, Midwestern accent. So that's it. You guys take care. Make Dirt Track great again.